Hare Krishna, everyone. So now we'll be having a class on the Bhagavad Gita. So before we begin, we shall just sing a wonderful prayer called Jai Radha Madhav. So it's sung in call and response. So I'll sing the first line, and then if you could all please participate and sing after me in a call and response fashion. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Ya Gopi Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari If you can all repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya namo bhagavate vasudevaya. So reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text number 25. So I'll recite the Sanskrit, and if you like you can repeat as well. So I'll recite one line at a time. Oh, it's not on the screen. Okay, anyway, I'll just recite the Sanskrit, and then Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Kshina Kalmasha Chinna Dvaida Yatatmana Sarvabhuta Hite Rata. Word for word. Labante, achieve. Brahma Nirvanam, liberation in the Supreme. Rishaya, those who are active within. Kshine Kalmasha, who are devoid of all sin. Chinna, having torn off. Dvaida, duality. Yata Atmana, engaged in self-realization. Sarva Bhuta, for all living entities. Hite, in welfare work. Rata, engaged. Purport by His Divine Grace. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Translation. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. Purport. Only a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness can be said to be engaged in welfare work for all living entities. When a person is actually in the knowledge that Krishna is the fountainhead of everything, then when he acts in that spirit, he acts for everyone. The sufferings of humanity are due to forgetfulness of Krishna as the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend. Therefore, to act to revive this consciousness within the entire human society is the highest welfare work. One cannot be engaged in such first-class welfare work without being liberated in the Supreme. A Krishna-conscious person has no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. He has no doubt because he is completely freed from all sins. This is the state of divine love. A person engaged only in ministering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties in the hard struggle for life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Krishna, he is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. Before we begin, we'll just recite some prayers. These prayers are to invoke the blessings of the previous teachers and for auspiciousness. So if you know the prayers, you can also recite with me. If you don't know the prayers, that's also absolutely fine. You can just hear along. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru गुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you everyone for coming to the Bhagavad Gita class today, for coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor today. So today we're discussing the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, specifically the 21st verse. Now here, the verse begins by by Krishna speaking about one who arises beyond the dualities of doubt. It's very interesting because doubt is something that many people experience. Put your hands up if you've ever doubted something. Yeah. Sometimes we don't need to think far to realize our own doubts. I'll give you an example. Maybe on your way here, you doubted if Google Maps got the time right. Maybe Google Maps said 25 minutes, but you doubted, maybe, that will it actually take 25 minutes? Or will it take 26, 27 minutes? Some doubt may be there. So in that way, you may doubt that will my colleague get a promotion? Will I not get a promotion? Will I get a promotion? Will he get a promotion? You may doubt that, was the answer correct in the test I just gave for my mathematics GCSE exam? I'm just making this up, but I'm sure the principle you can follow. And so doubt seems to be a very natural function of living beings. And this natural function, this natural doubting is also expressed by Arjuna. Because Arjuna at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, he has a massive doubt. He's not doubting in terms of, his estimated time of arrival to the throne, to the heir. Because of course he's fighting. Why is he fighting? He's fighting against adharma, because his oppositions were engaged against religious principles. He was fighting on religious grounds. And the outcome would be that whoever won the war would rule over the kingdom. So Arjuna wasn't necessarily having doubts about the destination. He was having existential doubts. Doubts about his duty, his existence, his what he's actually supposed to do. His doubts were so intense that he was shivering. Is mentioned, Vepushascha sirire me roma harsha jayate kandiva samsite hasta tak jaiva paridahyate. That his body was shaking and the hairs on his skin were standing on end. He had a famous bow, and this famous bow was called the Gandiva. So when someone is in great anxiety, sometimes there is some perspiration. Some of you may have experienced If you're at work or you're at school and the teacher or your boss, like out of nowhere, suddenly calls upon you to present some piece of work or speak in front of an audience, and you have no idea what you're going to say, you start sweating because it's such an anxious situation. It gives one anxiety. And so Arjun was in such similar anxiety that his famous Gandiva bow was slipping from his hand. Slipping means that why was it slipping? He was in anxiety because he was sweating and because he couldn't clench his fist. If anyone has ever had any intense emotions overwhelm them, they know that it's difficult to clench their fists. So Arjun could not clench his fist because he was under extreme anxiety. And his skin was burning. And so Arjun was in a predicament. His doubt was whether he should fight or not to fight. And he presented various arguments, and he thought that these arguments are logical, they're intellectual. Arjun, according to his standard, has performed an adequate SWOT analysis. But still, despite all his analysis, despite all his... If ChatGPT were there in the day, even ChatGPT could not solve the problem. Arjun was perplexed. So, he didn't know what to do, despite all the aids at his disposal. But he was yet to consult one other aid. And that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his Guru, his mentor, Krishna. So he says, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prachamitam dharma samudha cheta yat shreyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. That, Krishna, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to go forward, backwards, left, right, up or down. Tell me for certain what is the ultimate good for me. So in that way, Arjun has a doubt. And Arjun's doubt, he approaches Krishna to clear that doubt. So first thing is that doubts are natural. Doubts are natural. Because we're in a situation where sometimes we don't know how to make decisions. We don't know which way to go. But here, this verse is mentioning a particular state where one is free from doubts. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada elaborates that a Krishna-conscious person has no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. In the introduction, Srila Prabhupada mentions that what is Dharma? What is Dharma? Dharma can be loosely translated as religion, but that translation does not do justice to the depths of the meaning of the Sanskrit word Dharma. Srila Prabhupada describes Dharma to be that inherent quality which is inseparable. It can also be translated as occupational duty. So this inherent quality that is inseparable is understood with the following example. If you have water, the dharma of water is to be liquid, because that quality is inherently inseparable from water. If water is not liquid, it is not liquid. It is not water, sorry. If water becomes ice, it's not water, it's ice. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada describes what is the inherent quality of the living entity which cannot be separated from the living entity. And that is very practical. Human beings are social beings. And therefore, in all spheres of life, in all aspects of life, we have various relationships. Relationships are an integral part of life. And if one is to make the decision, like if I were to ask you, if I were to offer you a bungalow, a fancy car and £1 million, but the only catch is you couldn't tell anyone and you had to enjoy it just by yourself. You couldn't share it with others. Would you take it? Because how can you keep it just to yourself? How can you not share it with others? How can you not even tell anyone? Relationships are integral in our life. Therefore, you can also practically observe this in society. Mental health problems have rapidly increased, and one of the major problems is that of loneliness. People are lonely. People have no one to talk to. People have no one to confide in. Relationships are incredibly important. So much so that without relationships, and because of failed relationships, many people even go to the extremes of committing suicide. And so, Prabhupada describes the inherent quality of the living entity, inseparable from the living entity, is the desire to love and to be loved. But then, what or who should we love so that that loving propensity is met to the fullest extent? In our experience of this world, we have invested, we have dedicated our time, energy, and emotions into various relationships. Some of them may have worked out, and some of them may not have worked out. Some of them may have worked out, but still, there may be some lacking in those relationships. And ultimately, we all have a manufacturing date, and we all have an expiry date. This body has come into being, and it will also perish. The spirit soul is separate. As living entities, we're spirit souls and we're eternal. So even relationships within this world, they have a start date, they also have an end date. Relationship means there must be two people. In this material world, if the other person doesn't leave you, and you don't leave the other person, time will inevitably take it away, break the relationship by force. Because no one lives forever. Everyone must, at one point, die. And therefore, the love to be reposed is described to be reposed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that will fulfill all loving propensities of the living entity. The example is given in the Shastra that when one engages in this process of loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all other aspects, all other people are automatically nourished and fulfilled. Yatha tarora mood nishechanena tripyatitat skandu bujopashaka pranopahara cha yathendriyanam tatheva sarvar hanamachyuteja. If you have a root of a tree, and if you water this root of a tree, automatically, because of the a tree's ability to take water from the roots and nourish the entire plant, all the other elements of the tree are automatically fed, nourished, and healthy, because simply by watering the root. Then there is no need to individually water specific leaves, twigs, branches, fruits, flowers. It's automatically done by watering the root. In the same way, when we approach the root cause of creation, the root cause of this manifestation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, naturally everything else is nourished. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is establishing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that one can become free from doubts and understand that if I repose my loving propensity unto the Supreme Lord, then only will I be satisfied, then only will I be happy in life, then only will I be free from the miseries that come from this material world. Krishna mentions that we are all his parts and parcels, we are all his children. Sarva yoni shukonteya murtayat yat. I forgot the rest of the verse. But he mentions we're all, Krishna is the seed-giving father. He also says, Mamayavamshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that we are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. That means we are equal in quality, not of quantity. We're spiritual in nature, but the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord. He is God and we are not. Therefore, our identities are always independent and separate, but we have a relationship. And the purpose of spiritual life is to revive that relationship. So, this verse is talking about the state when one is convinced beyond doubt that the object of their worship, the object of their love, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And when one does so, there are natural effects that ensue. Kleshagni Shubhada. First thing is Kleshagni. It removes all material miseries. In life, we perform activities. Activities have consequences. This is known as the principle of karma. And so, when one performs an activity, they are duty bound to experience the results of those activities. The catch is that these activities are performed on a material plane, and as a result, one has to experience on the material plane the results and implications of these activities. This, however, is Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So one must reap the reactions of their activities, but because these activities are material, we have to experience various types of happiness and distress. Ultimately, the law of karma continues, and the cycle of reincarnation also continues. And this is a great source of misery. This is a great source of suffering. Because in the Gita, Krishna mentions Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. What is real distress? Real distress is birth, death, old age, and disease. Because no one wants to die, but still we die. No one wants to get ill, but still we get ill. No one wants to get old, but still we get old. And we also take birth. So, this is the first result of engaging in that relationship with Krishna. First result of pure devotional service. There are also many other results coming from devotional service, but we'll just speak just about this one. So then, the verse mentions whose minds are engaged within. And so, yes, minds are engaged within. The person who is engaging in a relationship with Krishna understands that spirit and matter is different. Spirit and matter is different. So therefore, they engage their time and energy in cultivating spiritual relationships, but at the same time, they try to avoid materialistic pursuits of life. If there are materialistic pursuits of life, they try to spiritualize those pursuits. They try to spiritualize their relationships. The principle of spirit and matter is dynamic. And therefore one's motive, one's intentions, and one's consciousness is a key factor in determining the progression of one's spiritual life. And so, such persons try to avoid temporary pleasures of life. Ye hi samsparsha jabhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantaha kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. The symptom of an intelligent person is given. The intelligent person understands that when one engages in the materialistic pursuit of happiness characterized by sense gratification, channeled through our 5 different senses, tongue, eyes, ears, nose, and sense of touch, these pleasures are temporary. They have a beginning and they have an end. And where do these pleasures come from? How do they manifest? When the senses come in touch with the sense objects. For example, when there is something pleasant to see and our eyes focus on that, then there is some satisfaction derived. So the sense object can be considered the landscape, the sense can be considered to be the eye, and with that combination comes some form of pleasure. But such pleasure, Bhagavad Gita describes, it has a beginning, it has an end, it's temporary. And therefore, what feels good now may not last for a long period of time. And therefore, the intelligent person inquires as to, is there something out there which I can permanently access and feel a spiritual, heightened, elevated sense of joy? Therefore, the spiritualist avoids sense gratification. The spiritualist restrains and disciplines their engagement of the senses. How that is done is described in the second chapter. Krishna says, Yada samharate chayam kurma anganiva sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya pragya pratishtita. That just as a tortoise has the ability to withdraw its limbs at will. So in the same way, the person in Krishna consciousness, the person who is stita pragya, fixed in transcendental consciousness, he withdraws his senses at his will and therefore does not engage in sense gratification. He does not let his senses come in contact with material sense objects. But the amazing thing about the tortoise is that the tortoise not just has the ability to withdraw its limbs, the tortoise also has the ability to expand its limbs, or the opposite of withdraw, engage his limbs, but like put them out of his shell. When the limbs are within its shell, it's protected. The tortoise has a hard shell on its back. It's completely protected. But the significance of the tortoise engaging its limbs is that simply by withdrawing, one cannot achieve perfection. Therefore, Krishna clarifies in the third chapter, Nakarmana manarabham naishkamyam purushosnate nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. That it is not simply by inaction that one can achieve perfection. It is not simply by renouncing that one can achieve perfection. Therefore, the withdrawal of the senses from the sense object should not be misunderstood to be just inaction or escapism. Therefore, the secret to success is described in the second chapter. Tani sarvani samyamya ya aste. No, I forgot the verse. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpara vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes one very significant phrase that Krishna uses that indicates how one can actually spiritualize their entire life and engage their senses in such a way that one does not become implicated, but actually can re-spiritualize their activity, their entire existence, really. And that is the phrase mat paraha. This word mat paraha means in consciousness of Krishna. When one engages their senses in the activities of Krishna consciousness, automatically one's senses not only become purified, but one is not implicated in the strict laws of karma. So therefore, the appropriate way of controlling one's mind and senses is to engage their mind and senses in the positive aspect of spirituality, and that is in the service of the Lord. Therefore, the perfect example of such engagement is that of Ambarish Maharaj, described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 9th canto. Is mentioned, Savai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayo. His mind was constantly thinking of Krishna's lotus feet. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. His power, his ability, capacity to speak was always glorifying the Lord. Karau Harer Mandir Marjanadishu, his hands were used to clean the temple. Shrutim Chakarachyuta Sat Kadodaye, his capacity for hearing was engaged in hearing about the topics of the Lord. Mukunda Lingaya Darshano Drisho, his limbs, his legs were used for walking towards the temple. That Britya Gatra Sparshyanga Sangame, that his hands, his sense of touch was used to touch the dear devotees of the Lord. Granam Chatat Pada Saroja Saurabhe, that his sense of smell was used to smell the flowers offered to the Lord. Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Chatadarpito, that his sense of taste was used to taste the tulsi leaves that are offered to the Lord. So in that way, Ambrish Maharaj engaged all of his senses in the service of the Lord, because all of these things are connected to Krishna. They are in direct touch with Krishna. Therefore, just withdrawing does not help one ultimately achieve spiritual success. Withdrawal is a symptom of frustration. Material pursuit of happiness can sometimes lead to frustration, and out of frustration one may simply try to withdraw their senses and take the path of inaction. But this is discouraged, because inaction can be pretension. Inaction can be pretension, because inaction is also not sustainable. We are social beings. We have the need and want to do something. And so also on a very practical level, it's not applicable. So, material frustration arises because material happiness is flawed. We already discussed one thing, that it's temporary. Not only is it temporary, but it also has side effects. And these side effects are also quite evident. When one is, say for example, one engages in, say, eating something very nice, right? And if one wants to eat more and more just because it tastes nice, then at some point they may get a stomach cramp. So in that way, material happiness can also have side effects. So out of frustration, one wants to leave material happiness. And this is a right step in the right direction. But this alone does not constitute the goal, because if there is inactivity, it will not be sustainable, and one will again be engaged in such sensual activities. So then Srila Prabhupada mentions, and the verse also mentions, about the highest welfare work. If one understands Krishna to be the supreme goal of life, the supreme proprietor, the supreme controller, the master of everything, then one knows where to repose their loving propensity, and one knows for whom to work. Here, Prabhupada speaks about welfare work. Welfare work in the sense of altruism. Altruism, in another place, Srila Prabhupada writes, altruism is very good materially, but spiritually it has no value. Because altruism only addresses the problems of the body. Altruism does not address the problems of the spiritual being. The spiritual being at the present moment is engaged in a material atmosphere which is inherently incompatible to its essential being. Just like how you have in children's toys, you may have a cutout of a cube where the child is supposed to put a cube through that cutout. But if they tried to put a prism through it instead, it's not going to work, it's not going to fit through. And therefore, the inherent incompatibility between the spirit soul and the material body means that no matter how much one assists, helps, the material body it does not solve the problem of the inherent incompatibility with the spirit, soul, and matter. Altruism, of course, is beneficial to a certain degree because unless one is stable in their life, one cannot provide or give proper attention, energy in their spiritual practice. So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one must be situated and one must be regulated. One shouldn't eat too much, one shouldn't eat too little, one shouldn't sleep too much, one should not sleep too less. If one is too materially disturbed, they are unable to focus on Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to place oneself in an appropriate situation so that one is able to perform their spiritual activities is beneficial. Therefore, what Srila Prabhupada is alluding to is that simply the performance of altruism based on the bodily platform does not actually bring about any ultimate good. And it can be compared to, like if someone is drowning and they want to rescue the drowning person, and in attempting to rescue the drowning person, they grab hold of the coat of the drowning person and they pull out the coat and they say, yes, I've saved the person. No, you haven't saved the person, you just saved the coat, the person is still drowning. So therefore, altruism has its limitations, it has its defects. This actually happened, it's a true story. And there was a building that was burning. People left the building, they realized that a baby was still in there. Father went in, and the building is already almost collapsing. But despite the severe flames, he went in, he caught hold of the baby, managed to escape the building. Later on, he realized he just grabbed the clothes. He didn't actually grab the baby. And so, he was not able to grab the essence. In the same way, if we care for just the body, but we don't care for the spirit soul, then that care is limited. That care is not of ultimate benefit. And so therefore, Srila Prabhupada is saying that temporary relief of the material body and the mind is not satisfactory. And so when a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Krishna, he's actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. So, for the highest welfare work, one should engage in Krishna consciousness, one should revive their relationship with Krishna, and one should share that with others. When one shares that with others, that is the ultimate welfare work. This is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Is described, Etavat janmasafalyam dehinami hadehishu prane arte diya vacha shreyan acharanam sada. The highest welfare work is to dedicate one's prana, life as, artha, wealth, diya, intelligence, and vacha, words. These four things should be dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord for the benefit of human society in general. It's also described, tapyanta loka tapena prayaso sadhavo jana. I forgot the next line. The point is that austerities, difficulties taken on one's personal account for the benefit of suffering conditioned souls is the highest welfare work. Param aradhanam tati. And therefore, that welfare work, ultimate welfare work, is welfare work based on the spirit soul, not necessarily on the material body, not the material bodily platform. So we'll conclude here. If anyone has any questions or comments, we can discuss. We have a few minutes.
You said about we're still supposed to engage. We don't want to have inaction. We still have to engage because we're in these bodies, right? That applies to, I assume, it applies to work and family and very material things, not renunciation.
Yes. So the idea is that whatever we do, we should try to add Krishna into it. And in that way we can purify. But one must be intelligent, one must be cunning to how to do that. how to add Krishna, but somehow or other add Krishna. And there is that verse from the 9th chapter of the Gita, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusha madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, do it as an offering unto me. And therefore, try to be conscious of Krishna. And in that way, one will become purified. Like that. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll conclude today's class. In 5 minutes, we'll be beginning Gaura Arti. So the curtains will open and we'll commence the Arti. We'll sing a song, the Gaura Arti song. It will be displayed on the screen. So please do stay for the Arti. And after the Arti, there will be some Mahaprasadam being served in the reception. So yes, please do stay. In other announcements, we have a major festival coming up soon. Anyone know what it is? Yes, Ram Navami, the appearance day of Lord Sri Ramachandra. So the appearance day is on the 26th, but it's a weekday, so we are celebrating on the 29th of March. So yeah, please do put it on your calendars. It will be a ticketed event, so please do log on to our website at krishnatemple.com to get your ticket there. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You want to sing for 5 minutes? One.
them to keep a... जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद श्री राधे जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद श्री राधे श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की जय सिया राम लखन हनुमान की जय श्री गौर निताय की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की कि जयो जयो गौरा चांदे आरती को शो